Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So in today's video I'm finally getting around to explaining the new format of the Champions League, Europa League and Conference League. This is of course an ASMR video, so I'm going to be talking calmly and quietly to help you relax. Maybe after a tough day, a tough week, a tough month, tough year, and maybe even fall asleep. But this is a highly requested video from you. Sorry it's taken me so long to do it. I've read a lot of material, so I kind of know how it's going to work. So I thought I'd just take you through the official. This is the official UEFA Champions League app, the one that we were using this year to do match predictions or whatnot. And there's a section on here explaining the new part. So it's going to be a quick video today, and I always say that and I always take forever because I can't shut up. And yeah, I'm going to read through this and then explain it as I go along. It's not actually that hard to understand, it's just very different from what we're used to. So I'll explain as we go along. I hope you enjoy the video. And here we go. So, new format for Champions League. Post-2024, everything you need to know. Good start, really. So the 24-25 edition of the UEFA Champions League will follow a new format. That is starting, well, it's already started. I know, because the Welsh teams go in the first round or the second round. So the Champions League has already started. We will explain what will change, what will stay the same, what it means for fans and how it impacts UEFA's other club competitions. Okay, so it says, there's all this stuff about how wonderful the Champions League is, blah blah blah, and stakeholders. Okay, so we'll skip all of that stuff, and it says, how will the Champions League format change from 2024-2025? So this is the key info here. I'll read it, and then I will explain it. You can tell I used to be a teacher, right? The pivotal change in the reforms announced by UEFA, the executive committee, is the departure from the current format's group stage system. Those of you really old like me will remember when the Champions League originally had 2 group stages, which is weird, but basically they had groups of 4, and then you got up to that and then you had to do another group of 4, and if you got up to that then it was the quarterfinals. So I remember that. So the newer system isn't that weird to me. But for some of you, you've only ever watched the Champions League in its current format, so you can't remember stuff like that. So yeah, now we're changing to a different type, and I believe it's called, it doesn't say it here, but it's called the Swiss League system, and I'll explain what that means in a bit. The present Champions League group stage includes 32 participants, divided into 8 groups of 4. From 2024-2025, 36 clubs, so 4 more, will participate in the Champions League league phase, formerly known as the group stage. So it's not a group stage anymore, but it is a league phase, and we'll talk about that. Giving 4 more sides the opportunity to compete against the best clubs in Europe. Incidentally, those 4 clubs come from the top divisions anyway, just so it's not like lower nations are going to have more opportunities. Those 36 clubs will participate in a single league competition in which all 36 competing clubs are ranked together. So that's the major change, and I will explain this in a second because I have looked it up through other sources. 36 clubs will participate in a single, so there's going to be 1 league. Now, I remember seeing a couple of pre-season friendlies where this has happened, where like Real Madrid will be in the same league as Man United but not actually ever play them. That's what it's going to be a bit like if you are familiar with some pre-season tournaments. Under the new format, teams will play 8 matches. That's another change. In the new league phase, formerly known as group stage, they will no longer play 3 opponents twice, home and away, but will instead face fixtures against 8 different teams, playing half those matches at home and half of them away. I'll pause for a second. So what it's saying is now you don't play 6 matches, you play 8, and you don't play 3 teams twice, you play 8. Well, 7. Oh no, 8. Yeah, 8 different teams. 4 home, but 4 different teams away. So you might get Real Madrid away, you'll never face them at home. But that's what it means. You might get Liverpool at home, you won't get them away. To determine the 8 different opponents, the teams will initially be ranked in 4 seeding pots. This is normal. Each team will then be drawn to play 2 opponents from each of these pots. That's different, because if you're in pot 1, you didn't ever face anyone in pot 1. Now you're going to be against 2 different teams in pot 1. 2 in pot 2, 2 in pot 3, 2 in pot 4. And of the 2 teams you're going to have, let's say you have Liverpool and Real Madrid, you'll have 1 away and 1 at home. But it's completely random, so again, it could be Liverpool at home, Real Madrid away, that's it. That's just the way it's drawn, and you don't have any choice. This gives the opportunity for clubs to test themselves against a wider range of opponents and raises the prospect for fans. I've seen the top teams go head-to-head more often and earlier in the competition, meaning more money for UEFA, but better entertainment for us too, hopefully. It will also result in more competitive matches for every club across the board. Yeah, because Man City aren't going to have, young boys, and who else have they had recently? Shakhtar Donetsk or Red Star Belgrade or something. They're going to have to go against Barcelona and Inter Milan, for example. But knowing that previously the system was set up for the top teams to be able to get through, you would never have a random group with, potentially 4 the best teams at Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern Munich, Man City and Real Madrid in the same group. That was impossible. It was set up so that everyone that was a top seed had a decent group and could get through. What this means is that potentially those teams will still get through, but they'll have harder matches on the way and lose a couple. But it does mean the teams at the bottom are going to have 8 really difficult matches, but well, no, actually that's not true, because they're going to have 2 from their own pot. One home and 1 away. So they could get at least 3 points. So that is the new system, and then we're talking about how they get allotted. So I'll just talk about this for a second. So basically we're going to have 1 league of 36 teams. Obviously then you're not going to have 35 matches each. You're only going to have 8 matches each. Everyone's going to be in seeds. So you'll have 2 from seed 1, and at random it'll be designated which one you get at home and which one you get away. So let's say you get Liverpool at home, Real Madrid away, then you get pot 2, I don't know, who could that be? Someone like AC Milan at home, and who's going to be at pot 2? Someone like Aston Villa away, for example. And then pot 3, same thing again, so they're going to probably be, maybe someone from the Czech Republic, like Sparta, Prague, or I'm trying to think, someone from Belgium maybe, and then pot 4, so you're going to have your sort of ones that have qualified through, so you'll have someone from, I don't know, Turkey, Greece, maybe, I'm trying to think of the system of qualification. I think we'll talk about that in a second, but yeah, pot 4 is going to be the easiest one. It's going to be, say someone from Serbia gets through, Croatia, places like that, then they'll be in pot 4. Okay, so how will the 4 extra Champions League group stage spots be allocated? So there's a system. Slot 1 will go to the club ranked 3rd in the championship of the association in 5th position in the access list, which is determined by UEFA club coefficiency ranking. So that the team in 5th, I know off the top of my head, is France. It's the 5th best league in Europe. So the club that was 3rd used to have to qualify, I think. So that means they won't have to qualify anymore, as long as they stay in 5th and they don't get caught by the Dutch. Slot 2, this place will be awarded to a domestic champion by extending from 4 to 5 the number of clubs qualifying for the Champions League. So that, which will consist of 4 qualifying rounds. This place will be awarded to a domestic champion by extending the 4 to 5 number of clubs qualifying. Also, the teams towards the bottom end of the coefficiency ranking, maybe someone like Scotland. I say towards the end, I mean towards the end of the higher end. So after, because it's will be awarded to a domestic champion. So it's when you're in a league that's quite low, so not Scotland actually, because Celtic have qualified automatically, Rangers have to qualify. We're talking someone much lower, like it'll be lower than the Czech Republic. It'll be someone like Croatia, maybe. I'm trying to think of someone. Maybe would it be low? No, I don't think it'll go down as far as Slovenia. In between sort of that area. So maybe someone from Romania will qualify automatically, or someone from Denmark, that sort of thing. And then slots 3 and 4, these places will go to the associations with the best collective performance. If you remember, last year that was Italy and Germany, because they had the most teams gaining the most number of points throughout the whole of the season in Europe. So although an Italian team didn't even make it into the last 4 of the Champions League, you had several making into semi-finals and finals of the other competitions, such as Fiorentina, Roma, Atalanta. So they and Germany did very well as well. Borussia Dortmund making it to the final, of course, Bayern making it to a semi-final, and then you had Bayer Leverkusen getting to the final. So yeah, they won the extra points, so their 5th team came from those ones as well. We nearly had a situation where we had 6 coming from Italy, but that was due to Atalanta winning the Europa League, and the winner of the Europa League automatically gets into the Champions League the next year, and so they would have given up their Champions League spot to the 6th place team under a certain set of circumstances, which didn't happen. Okay, so that's how the extra one. So basically, one of the sides that used to have to qualify, the one that was just on the brink of getting an automatic spot, has got an automatic spot. The team or the country in 5th has their number 3 club getting automatic qualification, which is France. Whereas in the Netherlands, the 3rd place team has to qualify, for example. And yeah, that's that. So I think that's pretty clear. Okay. How will teams reach the Champions League knockout phase, and will the format for the knockout phase change? Well, yes, and I believe that I can say they will not go down a league any longer, which I always hated. You know, it's not really fair if you've gone through the Europa League or the Conference League and then some massive side comes down, like a couple of years ago Man United went down. Okay, they didn't end up doing that well, but still. I remember one year Barcelona came down to the Europa League. It's like, how's that fair? Those competitions are meant to be won by a smaller team, aren't they? It's cheating the system. So it says the results of each match will decide the overall ranking, with 3 points for a win and 1 for a draw. The top 8 sides in the league will qualify automatically. So if there's 36 teams, the top 8 will go through. So your Real Madrid, your Paris Saint-Germain, your Bayern Munich, your Man City. While the teams finishing 9th to 24th will compete in a 2-legged knockout phase playoff to get into the last 16. If you're in 25th or lower, you will be eliminated and you will not drop down to the competition below, i.e. the Europa League, and the Europa League will not drop down to the Conference League anymore. As far as I understand, the 2-legged playoff is just between those teams, and I'm not sure of the ranking. The new format with all the teams ranked together in a single league will mean that there is more to play for all the way through the final night of the league phase. That's a good point, actually. You know, there must be quite a lot of mathematical variables involved. In the knockout phase, the teams that finish between 9th and 16th will be seeded. There we are. In the knockout phase, playoff draw, meaning they will face a team placed 17th to 24, with, in principle, the return leg at home. The 8 clubs which prevail in the knockout phase playoffs will then progress to the round of 16, where they will face one of the top 8 finishers who will be seeded in the round of 16, obviously. To strengthen... synergy. Anyone who uses synergy in anything, I'm like, to strengthen the synergy between the league and the knockout phases, and to provide more sporting incentive during the league phase, the pairings of the knockout phase will also be partly determined by the league phase rankings, with a draw, which likewise determines and lays out the route for teams to reach the final. Basically, they're just talking about putting you in a certain part of the draw if you finish top. From the round of 16 onwards, the competition will continue to follow its existing format of knockout rounds, with a neutral stadium hosting the final. All games before the final will continue to be played in midweek, recognising the importance of the domestic calendar around Europe. The final will be on a Saturday. Will the Europa League and Conference League formats change too? Yes. Similar format changes will be applied to the Europa League, 8 matches and therefore 8 different opponents in the league phase, and the Europa Conference League, which will be called the UEFA Conference League, not the Europa Conference League. 6 matches and therefore 6 different opponents, so there are fewer, with both competitions also featuring 36 teams in the league phase. Okay, and then it says, how will the new calendar look? Matches will be played between September and January, a bit tricky for some Northern European nations, and actually Central European nations as well. The Conference League will be played between September and December. Each of the 3 club competitions will have 1 exclusive match week, with the other 2 competitions not being scheduled in this week. It's the same match days as before: Tuesday, Wednesday Champions League, the other 2 on Thursdays. But in the Champions League exclusive week, Champions League matches will be played on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. And the Europa exclusive week match will be held on Wednesday and Thursday. Conference will be on just the Thursday. For the last match day of the competition's league phases, all games will be played simultaneously. They have to be to stop cheating, don't they? And then, you know, all of their justification. I'm talking about stakeholders as well. I hate anything that talk about stakeholders. Yes, people will get more money, obviously. You don't do things without money. There we are then. So that is the comprehensive list of changes. If you've got any questions, do ask and I'll try and find out the answers for you. So that is the new format for the Champions League, Europa League and renamed Conference League. I hope you found the video nice and relaxing, informative and helpful, and if you think I missed anything or didn't explain it properly, do add it into the comment section. Click like while you're there, click on subscribe, and write me a little comment. Don't forget to join my Patreon if you love what I do, and I will see you again really soon. I've got a big video planned and coming up probably next, and that's the comprehensive review of this European season, so look out for that very soon. Okay, take care everyone. Bye.